Hello my beautiful friends, welcome back. It's great to see you here again. I got an interesting video for you today. This here is my tip tower. You know, I'm starting an acoustic career. I'm going to be going and playing in different areas, different restaurants, different pubs, things like that, providing entertainment for the business. And you know, everybody needs a tip jar. And I thought, well, you know, I can't do anything normally. So I decided to build a tip tower. So this is the tip tower that I made. It's a basically a castle column, a tower that's made out of styrofoam, and I think it looks pretty great, and it even lights up as well. Gives it a little bit more visibility, and I think it looks pretty cool. So tell you what, guys, let's go to the video and I'll show you how I did this. All right, friends, let's get right into it. So this project here is pretty much cardboard and XPS styrofoam. That's really all that this thing is made out of. So I just took a piece of cardboard and I started folding it. I also used an X-Acto knife and kind of sliced the cardboard just so that it was, you know, going to be able to be made into a cylinder a little bit easier for me, because you know, cardboard doesn't bend all that well. So that's what I did there. Here I am, I'm just cutting out some circles, and this is going to be the top and the bottom of the cylinder, place to support the tip jar itself. And it also is going to be easier to build this if I, as you can see here, just start gluing the cylinder right onto these circles. It actually went quite easily doing this, and it turned out just the way I wanted it to. So just hot glue, get these circles glued on, and there you go. Just a basic cylinder, easy peasy. So then I took some time and I used some really dense shipping foam that I acquired quite a while ago, and I haven't used too much of it, but this was the perfect opportunity to cut a whole bunch of bricks for this project. So I used this foam, and this foam is actually really dense, really good stuff to use. So yeah, cut a whole bunch of bricks up. Actually, I cut way more than I needed, but that's okay. I'll be able to use it for another project down the road. So after that was all done, I started gluing it onto the cylinder. And if you haven't already, guys, do me a favor and hit that like and subscribe button. I'd really appreciate it. So anyway, I kept on with the bricks. I started with white glue, actually some tacky glue, but it actually went way faster, and it was a lot easier just to use a hot glue gun. So I just bricked the whole thing with a hot glue gun, and that worked really well. After that, I just cut some supporting beams here. Columns, I guess you could say, just cutting it out of some thicker foam. And these are going to be the decorative pieces and also the support pieces for the top of the tower. And again, all I did was use the hot glue gun and just made sure that they were in the right place. I used 8 of these all around the tower itself, and it turned out really well. Turned out pretty good, looked really cool. So this was just the last one I was putting on. I had to shave a few bricks. Some of the bricks weren't, you know, as nicely put on there, which is cool. But shaved it up and got it on there. And then these here, I just cut a whole bunch of these little pieces and put them in between these supports. And then added a few bricks on the inside, and there it is. Pretty much this project, build-wise, is done. So now I go and I move on and I start to make sure that it looks a little bit more interesting with texture. So I used some tin foil and I textured it all up. And then after that was all done, I spent quite a bit of time and used some Mod Podge and black paint and went over the whole thing. So this here is a piece that I've had for a long time. I didn't know what I was going to use it for. What I did was I spray painted it a black primer and just did a little bit of dry brushing on it. Used some silver paint, dry brush it just to kind of match the rest of the decor of the tower. and this was awesome. This is a heavy piece. It actually was part of a candle, but this was actually really heavy, and this is going to be perfect so that this tower doesn't easily move or tip over when I'm performing. So after that, I went on and I started to dry brush the tower itself. Made sure and give that a nice healthy coat of white paint. I used gray first, and then I went back over it with white paint, just some plain white paint. And dry brushed that and made sure it looked really interesting and really cool, getting all the high edges, as you know. And then after that, I went back to the base here and I widened the hole that was in the bottom of this base, because this is where the lights are going to come in. I am going to put lights on this. And so just cutting or poking a hole in the bottom and the top of the tower here, and that's where I'm going to feed the LED lights. Because as some may know that you know, if you have a tip jar, sometimes that can be easily overlooked, and I wanted this to have a little bit of lights, just so that, you know, it's a little more visible and it's a little more interesting, as if this tip tower isn't interesting enough. But you add lights to it and it's just that much more interesting and that much more visible. So this is where the lights come in, just to make it a little bit more interesting. So I used a very long stick and got the lights to go through the tower. And then, so there they are, they're working good. Then bringing it through, and then on the base, because the base has a little bit of leg, so there's a little bit of space underneath this base. I thought, you know what, this is going to look really cool if there's some lighting underneath the base, which is going to illuminate the whole bottom of the tower. And so basically just hot glued some of that LED lighting there, and then moved on to gluing the base to the actual tower itself. So again, the good old hot glue gun. You know, I put quite a bit of glue in here. Tested it out, and actually it's pretty sturdy, so it worked good. And then just finishing up with the lighting on the top of the tower, gluing it in there, and this is going to reflect and it's going to show through the glass, and it's going to really brighten up the top of the tower and brighten up the glass itself. This glass jar actually went to the I actually went to the thrift shop, and I got a really cool glass jar, probably like a cookie jar. So as you can see in the video here, I used this plastic piece. I think this was actually a garden dome for starting plants. So this is what I originally had used. I really didn't like it all that much. The lights didn't really pop. So when I found this glass jar, it worked. It was great. And then the final touches, just using some mica powder and doing some bricks. So this is the final project, guys. I really hope you enjoy it. I appreciate you guys sticking around and watching this video. Please come again for more interesting stuff. See you guys.